ready whenever you guys are.
Okay. Welcome to Plan9Crunch. I'm Doug Gibson. This is Joe Gibson. And today we're doing another scene bite. And the movie is The Mad Monster from Producers Releasing Corporation from 1942. PRC was their acronym. And they were actually even smaller than Monogram, Joe. In fact, while Monogram would still take a percentage of box office receipts, PRC would charge a flat fee, maybe $50, $100 to show their movies. George Zucco was one of their stars. Like Lugosi was a star at Monogram. Zucco made a few films for PRC. I really enjoy him in Dead Men Walk, the vampire movie. I love The Mad Monster. He plays Lorenzo Cameron, Joe, and he is a mad scientist. What else is he going to be? And he has this strange idea of injecting wolf blood to create better soldiers for the war effort. I love these PRC plots, okay? They're great. And so the scene we're going to talk about, well, first of all, I want to show the movie, the first two movies, so you get an idea. Jack, could you show that? PRC was not subtle, were they? I kind of like that format, the way they have it 3D like.
Yeah.
And the classic music. Johnny Downs, he was a star when he was younger, and as he got older, he tried to keep his career going. You know, Anne Nagel, she's in some Universal films also. Sam Newfield, he made a lot of these kind of movies. All right, Jack, we can go away from that. Okay, so the plot is George Zucco is Dr. Lorenzo Cameron, and the scene I want to show you is very surreal. I mean, it's one of the most surreal scenes you'll see in a PRC Poverty Row film. Dr. Lorenzo, well, first we're going to show Dr. Lorenzo. It's a long scene, folks. We're going to show Dr. Lorenzo making his handyman, who's played by Glenn Strange. What movies is Glenn Strange in, Joe?
Oh, he's in a lot, but especially as the Frankenstein monster in House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Exactly. And so, this is a great scene, but I want to say, Lon Chaney Jr. had his Wolfman, makeup and everything. And then Bela Lugosi did it with the Ape Man. So now we're going to see Producers Releasing Corporation create their wolfish monster. And Glenn Strange is the subject that Dr. Lorenzo Cameron, played by Zucco, is turning into a wolf. Then after this, we're not going to break, but after this, we're going to have Dr. Lorenzo debating imaginary professors who have kicked him out of the scientific world. And it's quite an interesting scene. Can you go through it, Jack, now? Okay, now we're going to see him pretty soon begin his conversation.
Gentlemen, I wish you were here to see the proof of my claim. The transfusion of blood between different species is possible. A few moments ago, Pedro was a man, a harmless, good-natured man. Look at him now. He's no longer human.
With the ape man.
He's a wolf.
Yeah.
Snarling, ferocious, lusting for the kill. You're looking at a scientific miracle, gentlemen.
You're a madman, Cameron. Your claim is ridiculous.
That's exactly what you said in the newspapers, isn't it, Professor Blaine? That I was a madman, not fit to occupy a science chair at the university. Perhaps you'll change your mind one day, soon, when Petro tears at your throat.
Poppycock.
You may laugh if you want to. But look! Even now, he'd like to be at his work. My catalytic agent has brought about a complete transition from man to wolf.
Your crazy experiments are a disgrace to science.
Yes. Those are the very words you used in denouncing me to the faculty. Professor Fitzgerald. Science. What do you know about science? You with your hidebound dogmas and shriveled mind that refuses to recognize progress.
What has progress to do with your foolish tampering with nature?
I'm glad you asked that question, Professor Hatfield. You also were one of those stupid fools who raised their voices against me. You're aware, of course, that this country is at war. That our armed forces are locked in combat with a savage horde who fight with fanatical fury.
Indeed.
Well, that fanatical fury will avail them nothing when I place my new serum at the disposal of the War Department. Just picture, gentlemen, an army of wolfmen, fearless, raging, every man a snarling animal. My serum will make it possible to unloose millions of such animal men. Men who are governed by one collective thought, the animal lust to kill without regard to personal safety. Such an army will be invincible, gentlemen. Such an army will sweep everything before it.
Your scheme is too utterly fantastic, Dr. Cameron.
You're fools, all of you. Poor, blind fools, especially you, Dr. Warwick.
Assuming that what you say is true, how would you control these wolfmen?
I perfected an antidote that induces the return of immediate normalcy.
And I suppose that it would be an easy matter to round up 1 million wild animals and administer an antidote. No, Cameron, you're mad. Stark, raving mad. And I, for one, am in favor of...
Silence! I'm not interested in your imbecilic mouthings. You, all of you, demonstrated your lack of vision by demanding my resignation from the faculty. Well, you accomplished your purpose. You cast me out. You robbed me of everything that I held most dear in life. Position, honor, respect. You branded me as a madman, held me up to ridicule before the whole world. But now it's time for my revenge. Pedro will see to that. Now you shall pay for your folly. There's no escape for any of you. You shall die one by one at the hands of the scientific marvel that you scoffed at.
You can't intimidate us with fantastic threats.
You're a faker, Cameron, a mad faker.
We'll have you ostracized by every scientist in the country.
There are institutions for madmen, and we'll see that you're confined in one.
Okay, we can go away from this now. This is a guy, he's so crazy, he's actually providing the arguments for each side of the debate, right? So, you know, it reminds me of Mr. Burns in one of the Simpsons, where they put Homer's brain in like a Frankenstein. Mr. Burns says, "Oh, that man at Radio Shack said I was mad," you know, or something like that.
Yeah.
But what do you think of the wolf makeup and design for Petros, played by Glenn Strange?
It's not quite as dignified as the Lon Chaney ones. The time lapses are a bit more sluggish. There's less there's more time where it's just the same on the face, and it's really dark and you can't see anything. Oh, now there's some more for PRC, for the budgets they were working with. It's pretty good though.
You know, I was reading a book by I'm reading a book, or two books by Bill Fleck on Lon Chaney Jr. And he went through a lot of pain to get those things on for long. And I'm just wondering how long it took with PRC. But anyways, I want to get to one more scene here. I don't want to give away the movie too much, but there's a disturbing scene, not that it shows anything, but for what happens later in this movie, where Petro, when he's as a wolf man or a mad monster, whatever you want to call it, gets loose. And something tragic happens. And the type of person that gets killed is not something you see very often in a low budget movie from the 40s. Jack, can you go to that? So remember, Petro's out in the wilderness, and they're in the backwoods here. I don't know why he has this big, huge castle and everything, and suddenly you're out in the middle of Hillbilly Junction. I shouldn't say Hillbilly Junction, but something like that. But you can watch and enjoy this scene now. I like the atmosphere here, at least. I don't think Glenn Strange makes the physical movements as well as Lon Chaney does too.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you on that.
All the animals are terrible nervous tonight for some reason or other. The old plow mule liked to kick my head off. I come up behind her sort of quiet-like, and she lashed out with both feet.
It's the devil mist in the swampland. I can smell evil in it.
Oh, will you stop talking like that? I'm so nervous now I could scream.
See, Mommy, I'm all ready.
Oh, that's fine. Now you hop in bed.
Can I put in my ball just for a little while?
Well, just for a little while. But mind, if you ain't in bed by the time I do my dishes, I'm going to tan you good.
Don't worry, I'll be in bed and fast asleep by that time.
Good night.
Good night.
Do you think this is a sound stage or an outdoor stage? I think it's a sound stage, frankly.
Well, it has to be controlled set to a degree, right? With
Yeah.
all the fog and the plants, they wouldn't just leave a chance for that.
Yeah.
Shut the door, quick! I never seen anything so awful in my life.
What are you talking about?
Something took after me down in the swamp.
What was it?
I don't know whether it was a man, a beast, or old Satan himself.
Have you been drinking?
Not a drop, so help me. I let him have both barrels of my shotgun, but that never even slowed him down.
No, you can't kill him no ways, except with a silver bullet.
I'm telling you, it was something awful.
Okay, you can go away now, Jack. So, Frankenstein, the 1931 version, kills a young girl, but that's a pre-code movie. And although they don't show anything, I think it's pretty jarring to have a little toddler girl killed, in with the code in a 1940s movie. So I think that's, Mad Monster is not a great film. I love it, but it's not a great film. But I think it is unique in that kind of shocking scene. Now, Joe, there's one more thing. We won't say the rest of the plot. Joe, these characters pop up in a book. Which book is it that they pop up in?
Well, they pop up in Dello Strato's A Werewolf Remembers about Lawrence Talbot. where he brings in a lot. Illustrator brings in a lot of other
dozens
wolf
and dozens of
type
movies.
scenario characters. I think it's the chapter Trapper's Moon. He uses a fictitious scenario with Lorenzo Cameron and Petro to sort of mirror the later events of House of Frankenstein with Dr. Neiman, and of course Daniel, I think, is his assistant.
Well, anyway, so this is A Mad Monster, 1942, Producers Releasing Corporation. We may have mentioned their names, but the stars, of course, are George Zucco, who is a distinguished British actor. And like a lot of actors, he needed to make money, and he was the big name, so he made some money with PRC. Ann Nagel, who you've seen in Universal films and other films as well, was in this movie. Johnny Downs, you mentioned, a former child, or younger star at least. Anyways, that's a scene bite. We hope you enjoy it. You can watch The Mad Monster just about anywhere without charge. And we're Plan9Crunch. We're at YouTube, where you can subscribe to us. You can like us on Facebook and TikTok. And you can go to our blog, Plan9Crunch.com, where I actually have reviewed The Mad Monster. Anyways, from Joe Gibson and I, that's a wrap.